sidekick Christian Cano, partner with Gunn, is coming up next.
Hey everyone, I'm Jen's sidekick. Welcome to Two Queers in a Truck. Hi y'all.
See you soon. Good morning, everybody. It is another edition of Two Queers in a Truck. I guess we're mid-month already.
Wow.
How you doing, Boo? This is Jenny-Jaymes.
Good, Boo. Good morning.
Yeah, it's just, we're halfway through the March, and it's March 15th, which is just...
You feel like we just said that about February.
I don't know what it is. About 2023, and it's just, I don't know if it's my imagination or a lot of people have been saying this year's gone by really, really fast. I don't know if it's because we don't have any real big election stuff to talk about, and the presidential seems so far off that it just seems kind of surreal. Like it doesn't seem. Yeah. It seems like 2024 is 10 years away,
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
and I think we had such.
But this year is going fast. I mean, it's maybe because we were just, I don't know, maybe because we're older.
Well,
who knows?
And I think because everybody's going about just like everybody's declared the pandemic to be over.
Yeah.
There's no real restrictions anymore. I think. I think we lifted the last of the restrictions on China this last week. So they're just, people are just, government, everybody's just saying, screw it. We're all in. We're tired of this.
Yeah.
And it's just very, very bizarre. And
good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. And so, reset my phone here because we're so high tech on this show.
Exactly.
And I got people blowing me up this morning on my phone.
I was going to say you're busy already.
I'm like, gosh, dang it, y'all need to chill out for a second. But anyway, we are going to get on to our first topic. Where I'm running a little slower than normal, and the first topic is something I posted on my Facebook, and it's gotten a lot of replies. And there is this church that says they printed up some heterosexual certificates, I guess, to certify people to be heterosexual. And come to find out, and I've heard from several people in private messages that several churches have done this around the world. And I found this as a repost from a Reddit post, a subreddit post making fun of the straights. And it reminded me of that Sacha Baron Cohen movie. He played Borat, but then he made another movie where he played a gay journalist.
Bruno.
And at the very end, I guess he decided he'd gone straight and became this ring announcer for this like low budget Arkansas MMA thing, and he called himself Straight Dave. And it's the ending of the movie, and it's just hilarious. And eventually, his former boyfriend shows up, and they start kissing, and of course, the Arkansas hillbillies. And see, the Arkansas hillbillies that are watching this in person, they don't realize that this is a spoof. They don't realize this is a joke. This is the whole magic of the Borat and Bruno series. It's something. It's kind of similar to Jackass from the fact that they're not, the people they pull the pranks on are not in on it, so you get the spontaneous reaction. Of course, they're throwing chairs, and their drinks, and some are like gobsmacked. Some kind of look like, I need to get out of here before I get outed. You know, and I don't know what you think about that certificate, but I've got more questions than answers on it. You know, myself.
Yeah.
Like how do you prove it? Like, you know, what's the certification process?
I think it highlights. You have been pointing out over the last couple of years, and I think it also highlights it, that people who are really evangelical Christians, you know, I'm not talking about just like normal mainstream ones that just go because it's more of a social thing, you know, like Episcopalian or even some Catholics or, you know, or whatever,
right.
You know, or Methodist, you know, who just go. But the ones who are really the ones that are into it, that would get something like this, I think it highlights how stupid they are. I mean, just their education level wise, you know what I mean? I mean, they're I mean, because it does take kind of a simpleton, and this is going to make me sound bougie, I know, but it just, I mean, that's like something you do in elementary school when your kid comes home with something attached to their clothes that say, "I was a good kid today."
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I didn't poop my pants today. Yay! You know, I mean, to me, it's just a little bizarre. You know, this thing was posted on Reddit under "Are the straights okay?" But it's that weird. It's that same reaction like when, you know, Pride season kicks in and all the straights start going.
Yeah.
Well, what if we started a straight pride? I said, well, straightness is celebrated in our general community. If you look at movies, if you look at pop culture, you know, we're not as far along as we think we are. You know, we've been tolerated in pop culture. We're not necessarily celebrated all the time. And there's still a lot of homophobia and transphobia. You can see it from some comedians that punch down, like a Dave Shitpale, for example, that punched down against a trans woman, you know, a year or two ago. I don't know, a lot of these no talent hacks they go, well, I'm not really that funny, so let me attack somebody to get some publicity. Let me punch down at some type of group that doesn't have a lot of support like the trans community. But the straights just act so weird, you know, like if it doesn't apply to you, if you don't want to celebrate Pride as an ally, don't celebrate it. Don't worry about it. Like, it doesn't affect you. And it just the overreaction and the performativeness is just so weird. It's like a reflex because they're not smart enough to realize people are laughing at you. Most of the American public, when you go all congy-wongus about, you know, some Pride event, it's like, I mean, you know, we're seeing this play out with the drag stuff too. And
I know, and you have to ask, well, did you have a question? I mean, were you, are you in, what's going, I mean, is there something you're telling us that you thought you weren't before? Or, you know, the fact that you actually have,
yeah, I mean, that's where all my questions.
So you have to carry this paper to say, oh, hold on a second, he's looking pretty good. Oh, here's my paper, I'm straight, I'm sorry, I can't look at you.
Yeah, that's the real question. Like, I know that I didn't go through a queer certification class. Like, I didn't go and
exactly
get my little gold stars planted on a little plaque or something and put it up on my refrigerator like my mom did when I was in kindergarten, and did some awful finger painting thing, and she's like, oh, it's like a Picasso. I'm like, no, it's not really. I know it's shitty looking, but thanks for putting it up. Anyway, very, very bizarre. And probably the straights aren't okay. The next one is Bobert. 18-year-old son impregnated a girl. So Bobert is going to be a 36-year-old grandma.
Oh, that's trash.
And what's really ironic is how, you know, she talks about family values and
Yeah.
Talks negatively towards the LGBT community. And she popped off the other day and wrote something anti-trans and just said, they shouldn't be coming out or transitioning before 21. And you also probably shouldn't knock up a girl before 21 either, and the fact that she's very anti-sex education, I'm going, well, when you have all your sex education learned in a bowling alley, like the Bober family tradition is, which is, her pedophile husband, sex criminal husband. I mean, look at their examples,
So you think her new hashtag should be Granny?
Granny Bobo.
Granny Bobo or Meemaw Bobo or something.
But
that should be like the new.
and they're not going to get an abortion because it's on record now, and she. Well, not that she wouldn't do something like that, but I just think it's kind of crazy that this big family values, and
she's like a Sarah Palin too or something, isn't she?
Oh yeah, because Sarah Palin had a kid at like 14 or 16 or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's always funny, these really conservative areas of the country and these really conservative families are the areas where teen pregnancy is the highest.
Yeah.
When I used to live in Southwest Missouri, the area I lived in had one of the top 5 teen pregnancy rates in the country. And based on what they taught in school at the local high school, I can see why there was almost no sex education. It's a very churchy, very conservative area. Also sex crazed too. So there was always celebrities around there always having down low sex, men and just crazy stuff, and just very, 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 very bizarre. And it's just great.
So you have MTG with her divorce, sex swapping divorce person, Matt Gaetz with his liking allegedly, well, I don't know allegedly, but liking the youngins, the real youngins, and has to pay for sex. And then you have Bobert, who's that's a family values ticket.
Yeah. You talk about, and these are all the insurrection caucus. These are all the loudmouths.
Exactly.
At Biden a couple months ago at the State of the Union. These are they're shining examples of the new generation of Republicans. Think about the Jim Jordans and the Boberts and you look at them, and it's just one running joke after another, just one or shoe drops. The more you find out about them, the bigger you go. We don't care if your son knocked up a girl out of wedlock. That's not the issue.
Yeah,
that's really a private family matter.
Yeah,
but here's the thing: you can't go running around like Bobert did when the MPX virus hit the American shores, and she was saying we need to round up all the gays.
Yeah,
put them in quarantine. Same person that didn't want to wear a mask, same persons that didn't want a vaccine mandate, and then all of a sudden a bunch of gay men get the monkeypox. Oh, we got to round them up.
Yeah.
First reaction out of her mouth about monkeypox: we got to round them up, put them in a camp, quarantine camp. It's amazing how quick they are to take away liberties from other people. That you can't do drag, you can't transition if you're 16. But if her son knocks a girl up, all of a sudden it's okay. It's okay to have premarital sex.
And that's the only one that got pregnant. We're not talking about the guys that he slept with.
Probably. I mean, no telling what he does at the bowling alley concerning who his dad
Exactly.
is. I mean, it is former stripper sex now turned congressperson. Can you imagine in a different era, like 30 years ago, or 40 years ago when Gary Hart got in all that trouble and got caught on the monkey business boat with a girl sitting in his lap, confessed to a extramarital affair, and it just ended his campaign. Like, it just instantly that week it was over. Of course, he was a Democrat.
Yeah.
Real party of personal responsibility. He did the right thing and he dropped out of the race. But we'll get back to it after this short break with some more Two Queers in a Truck. Hey, everybody, you can catch us on your favorite audio podcast platform, Spotify, and all Apple Store, the Google machine, and whoever else does podcasts. We're on there. We broke in and we're staying. So enjoy the Two Queers in a Truck on your favorite audio podcast platform. Thanks for listening or watching. Bye-bye. We are back, but I find it ironic that the Republican Party, they not only embrace liars and cheaters and sex criminals and all that, but they constantly point it out with no proof to other people. They're just like, oh, they're the cheaters, they're the pedophiles, they're this, there's that. Other than the next week, another shoe drops. Number 3, Tucker Carlson is going on another obsession about the Wuhan lab leak theory. And there's all kinds of conspiracy theories and saying, oh, it's proven without a shadow of doubt. Of course, medical science says there's absolutely nothing to prove it. And they keep, it's just like, well, they have to get off the Dominion voting machine scandal and all that because they've had the trial and Fox News lost and lost badly, like was going to pay a big old fine, and it's questionable whether the Fox News network is going to be able to afford to pay the fine. There's Rupert Murdoch, it's the fine is larger than the annual revenue of Fox News. And Rupert Murdoch's going, I think I left my wallet in the other car. There's so much evidence that came out about, they knew that they were lying. They knew they were going on the air and lying. And this is what lost them the court case. But I bring this up because then they start, preaching about this lab leak thing like it's gospel. They got all the receipts. They got, somebody that worked in the lab and said, yeah, I leaked it out. I took a vial of it home and just let it out or whatever. Or the Chinese government told me to or whatever. You have to wonder, going, well, hey, why would a lab purposely leak a virus on themselves?
Yeah.
Because that province of China is where supposedly the COVID coronavirus started. But if you were going to try to weaponize something, why wouldn't you put it in little hermetically sealed boxes and just send it all over the world? Why would
just put it on any of the thousands of things that are made in China?
Yeah,
when we get them,
almost everything we buy comes from there.
Yeah. So why would you wreak havoc on your own economy? Because you want to throw off the detectives? So yeah, I agree. The logic doesn't make any sense. But that's the problem, Jenny. You said exactly. The report that came out, I think that you're referring to, is that there was the Department of Energy. Our Department of Energy, there was some document that said that it is possible that the virus escaped from a lab. It is possible. But there are other departments that said they couldn't prove it or disprove it. The World Health Organization said that is a possibility. They couldn't rule it out, but they can't,
Right.
that has been that one thing has been turned into, you see, we told you that China leaked it, on purpose. That's how they leaped from that to that.
Well,
and it is
and two, yeah, that Wuhan lab studies different viruses and contagions, just like any research facility would do. But they take the leap of saying, well, it was a manufactured virus, and that's why it's so bad, and blah blah blah, and then in the next sentence, oh, really, it's just the flu. It's not that deadly. It's we don't
exactly.
have to wear.
Exactly.
They shift between their lies so much. You never like they can't get their story straight. One moment, we talked about this a week or two ago that one of the Republicans said, well, they kind of tricked us into not wanting to take the vaccine and not wanting to wear the mask because the Democrats pushed that agenda so hard that it was a reverse psychology thing. And so that's why so many of us died. And it's just, they can't take responsibility for anything. They beat this drum that it was just the Chinese flu, that we can drink bleach and hit ourselves with UV rays and we'll be perfectly fine. It'll go away in the summer, just like the cold season, the flu season. And then it didn't. Then we had another wave.
But don't you, hey, Jenny, in a way, it actually makes it worse because let's assume they were a little bit correct. Let's just assume it. Let's give them like a little bit percentage.
Sure.
Let's assume that it leaked, that it escaped from a lab, and they knew it escaped from a lab. That would be the case to say something dangerous has escaped. We've got to protect ourselves because this is war. We got to protect ourselves. We got to protect our citizens. We got to wear masks. We got to get a vaccine. We got to do everything we can to protect us. So even if they were a little bit right, they were terrible at the response.
Yeah. Well, and that's ultimately what got Trump fired.
Exactly.
Because Biden and the Democratic Party said, well, it's not this that you lied about the virus, downplayed the virus, and you waited too long to really respond. It's the fact that you, for the longest, said it wasn't real.
Yeah, but it's just the flu. It's going to go away.
As we saw Italy shut down, we saw the country shut down, and we're going, yeah, they shut down for a fake virus. It totally checks out. And they did everything they could to make it as hard as humanly possible, especially for Republicans, to survive the pandemic.
Yeah.
And then still want to defer blame to us, to the Democrats, to anybody that had half a brain that said, no, this is real. When the vaccine's available, go get it. Wear a mask, wash your hands, do all the common sense things that they consistently made fun of. Made the fun of Joe Biden's size of his mask when he was campaigning, just did everything they could but address the problem. Typical Republican craziness. Raskin, and I kind of missed this story. This one's not a brand new story, but it's probably a couple weeks ago. Boebert constantly misuses language, and this is Pick on Boebert Day, I guess. Celebrate International Women's Day, because even though this is being showed on the 15th, we're recording it actually on the 8th, which is International Women's Day. She keeps mispronouncing. She calls people, she uses Democratic as a noun instead of Democrat. And Jamie Raskin finally got tired of it because they were debating a bill that actually Boebert said she wrote but didn't really promote it, and she didn't file it right or something. So Raskin took to the floor and just got after her. And the first thing he did, and I call this section adjectives, nouns, pronouns, oh my. because we have Raskin that's going through cancer treatment, guys, his little headpiece on, and is just fighting the fight. Long story short, he said, explained that the word Democrat is a noun. Democratic is an adjective, like the Democratic senator from North Carolina, for example.
Mm-hmm.
But he said it would just be like me mispronouncing the Republican Party, and he said some kind of language Tourette's. He says, I start calling it the Banana Republican Party, for example. And so the Banana Republican Party does this over here. It just destroys Boebert. Of course, on an intellectual level, Boebert is even above his knees.
Yeah.
And has
she's probably still trying to figure, banana has too many syllables. We can't use that word.
Right, yeah. She's sitting there trying to play the Gwen Stefani song and memorize how to spell banana. She probably can't even spell it. So she's like trying to make a meme and going asking her staff, how do you spell banana? Well, play this Gwen Stefani song and you'll learn how to spell banana. And but it shows you the intellectual capacity, even when Jimmy Raskin's debating a bill on the floor, but how clever the majority of the Democrats are, minus the party city Whig lady from Arizona, Krista Semina, and of course our favorite Senator Manchin from West Virginia. Other than those two corrupt Democrat senators, the rest of them are pretty smart. And but Jimmy Raskin just destroyed Boebert, which they typically do on a weekly basis. But I just think it's ironic when he can get up there and just how they get so upset about pronouns and I'm not going to call anybody they. I'm going, wow, it's used in every book. And language is language, and again, just like the heterosexual certificates that I'm laughing about. Sometimes you just look at them and go, I don't think y'all went to school.
Well, and also, I'm not sure how many of them have worked in companies that have HR departments, or I mean, it's just it's a different world, and I understand why there's bitterness, because if you lived your whole life always feeling like you are substandard to someone else, you do get angry, you do get bitter, and with that group of individuals, every time you talk, they just exhibit, I'm angry at everyone else because of me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's really what it's all about. I mean, I mean, it's not that simple, but when you look at their arguments, it's all, I hate this person. I hate, why? Just because.
They use those big fancy words.
Yeah. And exactly.
They have Chinese pronouns, and they're just a bunch of commies and homosexuals.
Exactly.
And they get so damn mad, and they come off so childish and immature.
Yes.
And they stomp their feet like a bunch of kids not getting candy at the grocery store. I just shaking the shopping cart like an 18-month-old baby that doesn't get their way, and they just shake things. They just scream and yell, and it's very bizarre, except these are supposed to be functioning adults. Why they put themselves through this? Why they run for office when clearly they're over their head? They're completely out of their depth.
Yeah.
These people are dumber than a sack of hammers. The majority of them are. And Republicans just, every time they talk, they sound stupid because they are. They don't even sound stupid. They are stupid. The majority of them don't have an ounce of freaking brains or ethics. But we are up against our second break, and we'll be right back with some more Two Queers in a Truck.
Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for watching us on Two Queers in a Truck. Don't forget, you can watch us anytime at your leisure on our video podcast platforms like Facebook and YouTube. But you can also listen to us either this show or any of our past shows on our audio podcast platforms like Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and all of the other ones. So once again, thank you for watching Two Chords in a Truck. I hope you enjoy our show.
And we are back. And on the border news, south of the border, or the southern border, I should say. I started to sound like a Republican. Border crossings across the southern border fell below the 130,000 mark in January of 2023. It's a 42% drop from January of 2022 to January of 2023. Couple hot takes on that. One, Republicans during 2020 and really 2021 kept telling the world that we have an open southern border. That Biden created it. They started saying we had an open southern border even before he became president.
Exactly, yeah.
When Trump was president. So they want to blame it on Biden. He's creating an open southern border because he's talking about changing regulations. And so much so, when people hear snippets of that in Central American countries, they're like, okay, before that border closes, let's haul out up there. Of course, they get up there and they realize it's anything but, that there's Jeep patrols on both sides, a drug war going on. There's a whole bunch of dangerous things going on. And it just funny. And now it's gotten back. And just like everything else, just like inflation, so Republicans aren't talking about it. Now that they control the House, we haven't seen one inflation reduction bill from the Republicans. We haven't heard the immigration or the border crossings dropped 42% in January. Amazingly, that cooled off for a little while.
Yeah.
Nobody from the Republican side has mentioned this story at all. They have not talked about. They flipped it over to the drug war real fast because they don't want to talk about the fact that this dropped. And I mean dropped like a 42% drop is massive. And if you're going to blame every crossing on Biden, then Biden gets to take credit for this. Here's another Biden success. Yeah. He dropped border crossings by 42%. If you're going to blame him, you got to credit him because obviously it's under his control. The federal government dropped those crossings, and none of those Republican governors or Senator Daines from Montana, which is on the northern border, can take credit for this. And means less Mexican meth came in, so he can grow more meth there.
The good American meth.
Those meth plants up there, and they scoop those little meth plants up, cook them up or whatever they do, or, it's just so bizarre. And, and they can scream about fentanyl, even though that is a can come in a pharmaceutical grade version, which many people use and overdose on here in the United States. That it's not that hard to get.
Yeah,
that's one of the reasons people pick it. The same way with meth. Meth is you can make it into your house. You can your neighbor can make it in their bathtub. It's not any harder to make really than brewing beer. And some of these street drugs are very easy to get a hold of. Pharmaceuticals can easily be stolen. They can easily they can go to, certain places and they can buy up or get a huge prescription of it and just sell it, the trunk of your car. It happens. It's going to happen. Because we've so mismanaged harm reduction programs and we've so mismanaged the use of drugs in this country. We've never addressed that. Is that a big part of the drug war is making drugs make sense because they're never going away. we're never going to stop using painkillers.
Yeah.
Or we're gonna have some problems, with surgery, recoveries, and sports injuries and accidents and things of that nature. Human nature has always been, hey, we're in pain, we need something to relieve it.
Yeah.
And so Republicans, again, never have a solution. They usually create the problem and then go, screw it, let's just make everything illegal. Or they create a problem, like drag queens, obviously, because we've had so much crime because of drag queens.
Yeah.
And,
it really is. And it continues to, and as you mentioned, it was probably, I'm sure it was happening way before Trump, but it's accelerated. The Republican Party it's always been the party of get off my lawn kind of people. But now it has gone over the top where it is, and you look at the news that they watch, which is traditionally Fox News, not always, but Fox News. Every single thing is about what is wrong with something.
Right.
And that's basically their whole existence, is why things are wrong. And to me, it's not a sustainable strategy, because after a while, people get sick of the person who's always angry.
Well, yeah, you tend to avoid that crazy aunt or uncle that just sits there. And so, hey, you wouldn't believe what I saw on,
exactly.
Newsmax or Fox or any of the other property networks, that just sits there and spews these conspiracy theories as news. Gets these guests on there that have no clue what they're talking about, just making it up as they go.
Yeah.
And causing absolute hysteria, which is our last subject, which is a lot of people now been creating memes and showing priests and Jesus in his flowing robes and going, well, that's a form of drag too. And and saying some of the same things we've been saying on this show is like, if you want to protect kids, don't take them to church.
Exactly.
Keep them away from pastors and priests, because pedophilia is so high in that industry that every priest should have to wear a warning label that says, I love touching little boys. And like kind of like the Scarlet Letter is that every church say, this church was found guilty of pedophilia from 1962 to 1973. There should be a warning label on pedophile pastors and priests. They continue in the industry, and if it happens at a specific facility, they should have to hang a sign on their front door. Crimes against children have happened here.
And that's why I think, Jenny, and maybe not this year, but I think it'll start this year, but for sure in 2024, usually what happens whenever there's a group that is suppressed or marginalized, whatever group, and our gay community are like the experts of this. We've gone through so many episodes where we've been attacked. We step back, step forward. We step back, it's like a war, It's like, all right, we sit back, and then we fight. Okay, how do we beat them with their own game? How do we do it? With the drag queen stuff, with the Tennessee thing happening, with all the things that are happening around the country, transgender, what it takes is things are going to settle down a little bit. It's probably going to get worse before it gets better. And then there's going to be a way where people are going to say, okay, how do we use these laws against them so that way they want to repeal it. And I see in Tennessee, for example, I see some creative people who are going to say, okay, this is the law. You can't perform in drag and get paid. And now they're trying to pass more. You can't do it within 100 yards of a church or in school, just like, tobacco, alcohol. To look at the loopholes in those laws and say, all right, we're going to apply it to churches now. We're going to apply it to Nashville, to the Grand Ole Opry. We're going to call every day on on someone, because I think that person's really a man dressed as a woman, or something. And so you have to, and I do see, like in schools where they're banning these books, There needs to be parents that say, you know what? I'm going to start protesting every single book that has a priest in it, a pastor in it, a boy and a girl in it, because they're talking about sex.
Yeah.
And so I do see, I don't have that ability to be that creative because I usually wait till everyone else does it. But I can see people going, you know,
if you create those laws, number one, most laws are unconstitutional.
Yeah.
That they're creating on this, like banning drag performers is actually unconstitutional. It's against their First Amendment right. Mm-hmm. You have a right to be able to perform. There's free speech, all that sort of stuff. So it's not going to hold up in court. As soon as it hits, as soon as it passes, it's going to get. There's no legal way for them to be able to keep that on the books. In the meantime, you fight fire, and like I said, when they ban, trans kids, from transitioning, then you just start making wild accusations of every girl that has a short hair. Well, I think
exactly,
and you make sure it's somebody like the principal's daughter or some conservative politician's kid, or if a boy looks a little femme or whatever, you just start making the wild accusation. I think that kid's transitioning, just start hitting all the Republican politicians. Look, we need to investigate every one of the Republican families and just say, I think they're grooming them, and just start flooding the police stations. And if they set up an 800 number, just start turning them in, and just make these wild accusations. And bring them down to a grinding halt. If a politician wears a pink tie, you're cross-dressing. Like men don't wear pink. It just make it ridiculous to the point to where it shows how ridiculous the original thing was, how stupid it was. It just pushed them to the point of no return. So they go, okay. It's time to stop. It's time to. We get it.
Yeah.
What's it going to take for y'all to stop?
Like Trump, they don't have the ability to stop.
No, and the good thing is that we'll make their life so miserable that
exactly
and cost them enough business, because there'll be enough businesses boycotting, like for Disney in Orlando. They're thinking about moving the entire Disney facilities out of the state of Florida and take the 77,000 jobs with it. Because Disney's one of the biggest hand-holding corporations in the world. Yeah. They can move their facilities. That's the thing. They're like, we make more money off the movies than we can move this anyway. There's tons of states that are not problematic like Florida.
Yeah.
We can change y'all's name to Example. If you want to screw with us, you want to take away our status, you want to diminish free speech and all that, fine. See you later. Yeah. We'll be taking our 77,000 jobs with us. See how Orlando does without us.
Yeah.
We'll just hang on to the land. We'll just make it open eyesore.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. And Orlando and Kissimmee can just go back to being, a bunch of swamp turds. But anyway, that is the end of Two Queers in a Truck. And we will be heading out on some music here in a second. And it went by fast. So
it sure did.
And we'll see y'all next week. Bye, Boo. Stay safe.
Bye, Boo. Good show. Oh, I guess I should say.
Hey, y'all. Thanks for watching Two Queers in a Truck. And watch out for the heterosexual certification process out here. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see y'all next week. Bye, Boo.
Bye, Boo.